A bombshell new article from Radar Online claims that Prince Harry is, quote, angry and frustrated at how his new life.
Prince Harry trapped. Is Meghan Markle keeping him locked in a royal nightmare? The shocking truth behind his so-called Rapunzel prison is finally coming to light. Stay with me as we uncover the deception, fury and betrayals shaking the royal world to its core.
Living the promised American dream has turned into a behind closed door nightmare locked in a Rapunzel like tower with his wife, Meghan Markle. I'm going to get all the insight from Lady Colin Campbell, who has been reporting on this before anyone else, in just 1 second. But first, let me take you through these new details. So, Radar Online reports that sources have revealed that 5 years since the Duchess of Sussex set in motion the plan that would see them quit the royal family, Harry feels like he was, quote, missold the idea. Radar Online's source says Meghan sold their move to America as a way for their family to be happy, free, and relatively normal. But that doesn't seem to be the case for them and their kids at all. It's almost as if they, as a family, are living like Rapunzel in her tower. Even the locals in Montecito are puzzled. Archie and Lily are rarely seen with Meghan or Harry at local events like trick-or-treating at Halloween, for example. Harry is angry and frustrated at how things have turned out. He feels like he's been missold a life, plus he and Meghan are also leading pretty much separate lives. It's like they are an estranged couple living under the same roof. The children, by the way, according to Radio Online, are believed to attend a local school and nursery, and some online commenters have cheekily dubbed Lilibet Invisibet because the princess, who was born in California, has been seen even less frequently in public than her older brother. But a source added the biggest shock for Harry is that he thought raising the kids away from the royal family would give them more freedom. In California, though, the opposite has happened. In fact, Archie and Lilibet's world seems even more cosseted than his own upbringing as an heir to the British crown.
Like this video if you think the truth needs to be exposed, and hit subscribe for the latest royal bombshells. Once upon a time, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle seemed like the perfect love story, breaking royal traditions and forging their own path. But behind the glamorous facade, was there something much darker brewing? Insiders reveal that Harry feels more isolated than ever.
It also says that Harry thinks that his kids deserve similar normal experiences growing up as his mother, Princess Diana, provided him, but Meghan is reluctant. One more real bombshell source quote here. Harry feels as if they are living in a bubble. He's beginning to think he had more freedom as a kid growing up in a palace. Of course, while Harry, like Meghan, will always prioritize their kids' safety, he's worried Archie and Lilibet are missing out too. Well, Lady Colin Campbell, of course, we have been reporting on the strains in the marriage before anyone in the mainstream media. However, fascinating details here from Radar Online, and I have to give Radar Online credit because they have been brave on this story where many of their contemporaries in America have not been.
Yes, well, it's interesting, but you notice, Dan, how wide a net they cast, and some of it is actually quite accurate. For instance, the fact that had those children been brought up in Britain and living within the royal folk, Windsor is very protected, and Windsor has a lot of acreage, a hell of a lot more than Montecito. Sandringham, Balmoral, these, even the palaces in London, they are rather large complexes, except of course for Clarence House, which is a relatively small house. But the king lives in Clarence House. But the rest of the palaces are pretty large complexes, and they would have been having a suite of rooms in one of the palaces. So they would have benefited from the freedom that being ring-fenced by the Royal Protection Squad would have provided them with. And it is when Harry goes on about, on the one hand, about how free California is, It's not free. First of all, you have to drive everywhere. Secondly, you're in a gated community and you really don't have that much contact with your neighbors. And if you break it down, the children are very isolated, and they would inevitably be isolated in a way that had they been within the royal fold here, they would not have been isolated. Because, for instance, in Kensington Palace, it's a vast complex. I'm sure you know it's a vast complex, but the public might not know, where you have some pretty grand apartments, but you have lots of little cottages and smaller apartments. And it's a village. It's a true village, and it's a village that's shut off from everywhere else. So there is a freedom there. And of course, if they are at Sandringham or Balmoral, they're on thousands of acres of protected property. So quite how, on the one hand, you Harry and could feel that the children would benefit from a freer upbringing in California than they'd have here. It's again, it's a sign of, I'm sorry, insanity.
And what leads to that insanity? The mind boggles.
Cut off from friends, family, and his old life. Is this what he signed up for, or has he been manipulated into a royal exile? Royal experts claim Meghan has created a fortress around Harry, limiting his access to his family, former friends, and even the UK.
You've had lots of impeccable sources on this. Do you think Radar Online's description as an estranged couple living under the same roof is broadly accurate?
I think it's certainly accurate some of the time. I don't know that it's accurate all of the time, but I think it is accurate some of the time. Harry and Meghan's relationship it follows a classical mold for particular personality types, and it's occasional ecstasy and lots of agony. And Meghan is notorious for having given all her men a tremendously rocky ride and a very hard time. She has no compunction about flying into their face over everything and nothing. And my understanding is that she's absolutely no different with Harry than she was with Trevor, who certainly deserved a medal. In fact, he deserved to be sainted. But she's done it with other men as well. And I would not be surprised if they play the public to a large extent, because they are trapped at this point with each other. And in a relationship like that, no matter how unhappy you are and no matter how much you yearn to depart, it's not that easy to extricate yourself, whether you are in the public eye or not in the public eye. And when you're in the public eye, it makes it even more difficult to extricate yourself. So, there's a facade that's everything is fine, everybody is happy, that's maintained. And you notice when Harry was speaking to Sorkin, he said that he didn't say what his ambition was going to be for 30 years hence, but he made sure he got in that he's a good husband and father.
No solo trips back to Britain, limited interaction with old friends, and constant PR management. Even former royal aides have spoken out, suggesting Harry is in a controlled environment where every move is monitored. But is this protection or possession?
Oh, yeah, of course he is. Of course he is. No, indeed. And I think people have to be very clear that Harry's words in New York were purposefully vague, because we have always been clear, Lady C, in our reporting that while there are strains in the relationship, it is a much bigger decision for this couple to decide to separate or divorce. And there are many other factors at play, including finances, including security, including where the children would live. And so he decided to almost make it all about divorce, whereas actually he wasn't prepared to at all address the issues that are quite clearly there in the relationship. But Lady C, I want to talk to you about some other bad behavior from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, because this week they released a video, which we're going to take a little look at, which was promoting the Archewell Foundation. I find it quite bizarre that they think there's anything to be proud of, though, Lady C, given that they only raised $1 million, which is nothing, given the power that they have, given the wealth of the friends that they have, and also given the fact that they ended up then donating $250,000 of that to Joe Biden's daughter. Surely not a woman who needs the money given her connections. But if we just have a look at this video now, this video was released, Lady C, on the exact day that the royal family in the UK were hosting the state visit for Qatar, where I know that Harry and Meghan were absolutely livid that David and Victoria Beckham, their former close friends, were guests of honor. And of course, this goes against an unwritten rule within members of the royal family, which is that just stay away from a state visit. Just allow the state visit to take center stage. This was purposeful, wasn't it, by Harry and Meghan?
You know, what are they actually telling us? They're actually telling us that their labours have been minuscule and that their results have been negligible. And they have tried yet again to muscle in and to knock the proper royal family out of the headlines, but they didn't succeed, because every time they do something like this, they still get attention, but it's lower down the totem pole than it used to be. 4 years ago, if they'd done something like this, it would have been lead news. Now it's not lead news. So they have overplayed their hand systematically. And as for giving $250,000 to the Biden girls charity, that comes perilously a political donation.
Yes. Perilously close. Indeed, it does. And I also just thought, goodness me, you've only raised $1 million. I mean, that's pathetic. I know some people might think, oh, that sounds like a lot of money. Trust me, when you're dealing with their figures, that is a pathetic effort. They only put an hour of work into Archewell, the charitable side, every week. And then they decide, oh, let's give quarter of everything that we've raised to Joe Biden's daughter. A clear attempt to muster political influence. I just think it says a lot about them. But the other sorry, Lady C, you come in.
Oh, I was going to say, but doesn't it also show yet again what poor judgment they have?
Oh, terrible.
Because of course, they were hoping that Biden would be a shoo-in. Not only was Biden not a shoo-in, nor was his acolyte Harris, and now they have Trump to deal with.
It's no secret the royal family is furious. Prince William is reportedly done with Harry. King Charles is struggling with the betrayal, and the entire monarchy is reeling from the couple's accusations. But could Harry finally be waking up to the reality of his choices? And if so, is there any way back?
Indeed. Indeed. And I cannot wait. But Lady C, sorry, there is one other topic I have to ask you about this week, because it just made me howl with laughter. I have to be honest, this report, I'm going to read it to you. Meghan Markle's embattled lifestyle business, American Riviera Orchard, is being written off as a flop because, having announced with great fanfare back in March that she had began a search for a suitable chief executive officer, with a source even telling the Daily Mail at the time Meghan is interviewing candidates for the CEO role. Prince Harry's wife was unable, apparently, to find anyone who matched her expectations. Now insiders say she has found the perfect candidate, Lady C, herself. A source close to Meghan leaked to the New York Post she is the CEO of American Riviera Orchard. Good Lord. Good Lord. This is going to be a terrible business, isn't it?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of us all? Me, me, me. I love me. I'm the best person in the world. She is absolutely beyond a joke. But I would have thought that any chance a right oik had, American Riviera Orchard, had
I
to
like
succeed,
that.
thank you, has just been buried.
Yeah.
I think maybe Harry helped to scratch up the earth and bury that bit of matter underneath another banyan tree. Meow, says I. But she is not capable of running a company of that. I think, Dan, if I can just very briefly explain, some years ago, Arnold Scarsi suggested that I do a jewelry line for the shopping channel. And I looked into it and spoke to the head of what's it called? The shopping network thing. I can't remember what it's called now. But you have to have, for every product that you are making available for sale, you have to have in the warehouse several hundred dozen ready and waiting in case it's a success. And if it's not a success, you stand the hit, because you have to then somehow get rid of that stock.
Rumours are swirling. Could Prince Harry be planning an escape from this so-called Rapunzel prison? Recent solo engagements hint at independence, secret communications with the royal family, clues in his latest interviews. The signs are there. But will he make a move before it's too late? What do you think? Drop a comment below. And if you haven't already, subscribe now for the latest royal revelations. Prince Harry's story is far from over, but one thing is clear, the world is watching. Is he truly trapped in Meghan's world, or is he finally breaking free? Hit like if you think Harry needs to reclaim his life. Subscribe now so you don't miss our next royal deep dive. Until next time, stay tuned for the truth behind the headlines.